Here's an edgy video for you kids. We're always talking about socio-political economic problems. Some of them are exacerbated by social enterprises that are looking at slighting certain groups of people because of the background they had. And they have a criminal enterprise because if you're keeping me out of a job because of my background, it's a criminal enterprise because you're not legal to do that here. You're choosing to do that by culture. That's a fucked up culture of obfuscating my rights, which would be my rights normally, having everyone else's. For security needs you don't fucking need, and we all know it. Hey, here's what I think. I think that in the education system, like the public schools, if the public is keeping people with backgrounds out, then we can say the public is on the hook for the greatest theft of human rights in the world. If teachers cannot get reformed, get education as felons, and teach your children in public schools for basic shit they don't really use anyways, guys, let's be honest. The higher learning's where it's all at. Then you're saying Americans can't teach anybody. Every American should have an opportunity for higher education, self-development, life, liberty, and this pursuit of happiness, even after mistakes, right? Because the whole application process of the courts and such is to reform an individual, not to get rid of them. We have not killed them or remanded them to custody permanently, so we are saying what? Redemption is possible. In fact, post-response, redemption is imminent. Thou should be, again, innocent, right? That's not what we're letting companies do. The government wants to look at that somewhat, but even with the information age, they don't do that anymore. We need to go back to that, guys. I want our privacy back. I want rights back. I want people to have opportunity back. And with the digital age and information sharing that's at the intelligence level for even basic companies, it's the worst security risk that humanity ever had. It's allowed people to track you that should not have access to tracking you, or access to the resources to share with other people who should not be tracking you, because that's really the big problem. They share those resources, information, intelligence to people who, yes, don't have access to that system, but have access to them, and do the same thing ergo with it. Issues, right? I think reformed criminals should be teaching your children, because your children get taught basic stuff from K through 12, right? Not all of them should be, but I think they should be reformed citizens. They should be all citizens of a certain strata, right? So certain things should be able to be in there because we're really keeping Americans from teaching Americans. Those are the Americans you want to teach. You want Americans that ran through the ringer on what not to do because you motherfuckers don't know what not to do, right? Most of you charge your children up for this or that politically, and they do stuff that they're not supposed to do. They oppress people out of their rights. They dox people online. They do all sorts of crazy crap that they think is totally cool because they think a certain way or their social group thinks a certain way about people. Polarizing politics is the reason why Steve Scalise got killed. Almost got killed. Ronald Reagan almost got taken from us. It's all this crap. You don't need any of those. It's supposed to be one American direction. We should have always had one American direction. One American direction includes all Americans, even criminals, guys, whether you like it or not. What I don't want to include is people who are not from this country because we have home problems to deal with. To respond with people we have to reform, which means we need to keep people out that we don't have money to help reform because it's going to take money to help reform people because we removed everything from those people when we tried to put them in the courts and everything. When we put them in the prisons, what happens? You removed everything from them. People are going to need things. Guess who's going to be paying for those things? You got to be careful on who you give judgments to because the public's the one who bears the burden. But no one wants to talk about that. Everyone wants to just make homeless people out of everybody. It doesn't even work like that, guys, because there's rights even as people that you've slandered down into a low position. The power's going to fucking fight for our ass. There's too many people going down like that. Bottom line, even in my own home deal with that shit. Because yes, I have a disability. No, I don't have all the diagnoses in order that I want, but I will at some point in time. I think we should be allowing Americans to do American things. Not preferring other countries to do our things for us. We should be reforming the people we have and getting rid of people who do not belong here. Because there are people who don't belong here. If you're not a citizen, you don't belong in the job pool here. If you're not a citizen, you don't belong in the resource pool here to take money to any kind of loans, any kind of money out of our economy. Our economy. We're not in their economy. We can't just plug ourselves in and over there. You know? We got to preserve our value. It's okay to preserve our value. Keeping people out of your bank account preserves your value, right? Keeping people out of your country is like keeping out of your collective bank account. Just a thought. There, beloved.